Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sunday, June 9th, 2024. I can't believe 2024 already. Wow, that's pretty amazing. So I got down here earlier than I have in months. I was determined to be right on time. I came closer, but it's so funny because you get down here early and then all of a sudden you see all these things you want to do. And but I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. And I'm going to get there. But your time with you means everything to me. So, all right. I've kind of got a messy table here. And I finally said, you know what? I will straighten out the table while I'm talking to them. So I got everything, grabbed a whole bunch of stuff. It is warm today. And I've been busy. Uh oh. I don't think you can hear me. Hmm. Okay. Maybe you could. It just got stuck. So, hello, hello, hello. Yesterday, Mark and I went out and planted all the rest of the flowers in the back gardens. And it was a busy day, but it was good. The humidity was low, and so it was much more comfortable. So today I'm kind of achy. So it was a lot of moving. But he did the most wonderful thing, which was he would bring all the pots to me so I could be set up with my moisture pellets. I put these little moisture pellets in the plants because that way I don't have to go out every 10 minutes and water them. And so I had moisture pellets, I had the fertilizer, I had the good soil ready to. I Every couple years I put all new soil in, but in between I just take out the old root ball worth of soil, put it in the vegetable garden, and then replace it with refreshed soil. Because I know that the minerals and things like that get depleted over time. And I have fertilizer that I 10 that I put in them, and then later on Miracle Grow. But, but, it is really good to make sure they have the minerals. So let's see. How is everybody? There's Debbie and Marsha and Bonnie. Whoa, got to clean off those glasses. I brushed my teeth before I came down here, and sometimes I dribble on my glasses. And that's a pain to get toothpaste off. So, hello, hello, hello. So, Alberta's here. Let's go back up to the beginning. Marsha, first person here. So good to see you. Bonnie and how to. Oh no, don't you hate when meetings get canceled? I'm sorry, but working on red work, that's a nice thing to do. Isn't it funny too how how nice it is that we have our sewing, because boy does that soothe me when nothing else will. Okay. So, Lisa, hi sweetheart. This is I missed Lisa. I don't know. I feel like maybe I missed her one day, but it's so good to see her. And Debbie and Alberta. Oh, I love seeing all of you. And thank you. Back there somewhere, Debbie, is your beautiful wedding card and Miss Bonnie's wedding card. So thank you so much. Y'all are so thoughtful. All right, first thing I'm going to show you then is what we're working on. You can tell I was in a huge hurry. I've got so many things to show you because we're working on two brand new projects, and one of them is the Sunset Cowboy from the movie. I got the idea from the movie. Um, Here is going to be the background, and somewhere we'll work on it. Somewhere, either this side of center or that side of center will be the cowboy. And I've got the pattern all done with the spacing. I always like to show you, because if you miss Thursday, you'll know what we're doing on Thursday night. I've got more fabric upstairs, and I made, to make it easy for you, I made a color labeled pattern. So you know just what you need where. So that is, all of that is on our site, on our groups IO. But don't worry, if you can't get to the groups IO, send me an email at ourtimetoquilt@twc.com, and I will be very happy to send it to you. And I kept this with it because it is to remind me that you can even print that pattern directly to sheets of steamacine. And you can, if you have like Pellon 2, cut out printer size sheets, run them through the printer on the paper side, and or when you're like me, you're too cheap to waste that stuff. So I draw it from the original pattern. I just wanted to say too that we have thought, I keep these little tiny pieces of paper to help me remember what we're supposed to do and good ideas for the future. One of them is to do the fancy fish. And I think it was Betty Meisner who made me think of that one. And then at some point, we're going to do a cityscape. So that'll be fun too. So I'll keep that piece of paper handy. Oh, and since it is the first Sunday we're here in June, I drew the next number for our UFO challenge, of which I finished one. And this month's number is number 5. Okay. And if you have not been able to keep up like I haven't, it's okay. And whoever does the most of the finishes the most UFOs, they will get a gift certificate. So, okay. The other thing, this is a little personal, and maybe I'm just a little crabby today. That could be. But, oh, hey, Mitty. Oh, before I go any further, keep our Monkey Mary, our Mary, and her husband Mark in mind. Mark lost his father. They were headed back home to go to the funeral, and I feel so bad for them. So keep them close to your heart. That's a tough thing to go through. I lost my father years ago, but there are times it still really bothers me. And, it's hard. That's the thing, the hardest thing about growing older is you lose so many people that you love. And I tell you what, growing old is not for the faint of heart. That is for sure. So I got my new American Quilter magazine, and I was looking through it right away. Oh, and also, my hammock is now put up in the sunroom, and that is going to help give me some inspiration to get things done around the house, because then I can go reward myself with a good magazine or a good book, lay in the hammock for a while. Heaven. Oh, and I forgot. I just happened to look behind me. I just want to say happy Pride Month. I have a couple wonderful family members, and I love to remember that for them. Then here is a quilt that I set out for you to see today. This was a quilt I did as part of a mystery quilt. And I've told y'all before that it was the best thing that I could do to expand my skills. And it was a really good thing. And then I hung my dahlia quilt up there. I do love that. I'll be taking that upstairs to get it quilted. So now, you know me, I forget sometimes about telling you about things, but I wanted to get those done. So I was reading this wonderful magazine for American Quilter, and I realized that I need to change my attitude on quilt shows because people have gotten so good. Hi, Miss Jody. Oh, his dad died of cancer. Aw. Oh, Barbara Smith is here. Hey. Um, there are so many talented people out there. And I found myself going through this magazine. But this quilt right here has almost 31,000 tiny little hexagons. Can you see them? Tiny, tiny, tiny little hexagons. My goodness. I found myself when I was looking at this, and here's one of Janet Stone's two quilts. She is incredible, but she won with two of her quilts. And I thought, oh, here's another frequent winner. And this is Margaret Solomon Gunn, who, oh my gosh, does she do beautiful work too? But, and then there was another somewhere else. This is the AQS quilt show, but I saw some more somewhere of the quilts that won at Paducah. And honestly, I get, I get kind of sad because I could never do this. And it's absolutely amazing. But sometimes the quilt shows kind of depress me. Oh, I've got to. Hello, Brenda. Haven't seen you in a while. How about that? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But I think I need to kind of change my attitude because I don't ever want to be jealous because these people who make these quilts are so talented and they work very hard. There is no easy way to make a prize winning quilt. And also, I don't think I want to spend the time and invest the energy it takes. It must be these people's full time job to do this. It's just amazing. And I'm kind of getting to the point of my life where I want to play more than work that hard. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Was yes. Where are your thoughts? What are your thoughts when you see these quilts that to me seem almost impossible? How do they do that? I mean, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And I want to be happy for them. I am happy for them. I'm proud of them. But it makes me kind of realize I'm not going to be a competitor in quilt shows. I don't think I have that much talent and I don't have that kind of time. And I don't think I want to spend that much of my time left working on these. So maybe it's a game for younger women. I don't know. But I just had such mixed feelings. I thought, hmm, this might be something good to talk about. So, because when I saw it, I kind of got like my first reaction was depression. You know, like, I can never do that. I could, you know. So, I think what I do, working that hard for them makes them happy. and I don't think it does to me. So beautiful, but too many small pieces for me. I love to see them there. And that's what I need to do. Oh, hi, Patty Kuchera. How good to see you. Ah, yeah. What and see, I don't. I during the pandemic, even before that, I stopped doing the local quilt groups because I don't feel like I have the energy to give a quilt guild. Like if they have a small show, they need everybody pitching in. And doing my 2 shows here a week, kind of, you know. But if there, maybe I'll look into, how do you enter your quilt show and into a smaller group show. So, but goodness gracious. So anyway, but that I just, it just kind of I have been watching the quilts getting more and more amazing. So, wow. Cheryl, hi, sweetheart. It's so good to see you. And Lisa says she quilts because she enjoys it, is for her own pleasure. There you go. Okay. That, what? That's what I just have to tell myself. Yeah, less time consuming because I think 31,000 tiny little hexagons. They said that the one side of the hexagon was a third of an inch. I can't even imagine, but that's just not my thing. And I guess that's when I have to say, I like the 3 shows I entered, didn't win anything, but that has to be fun enough for me. So I guess maybe that's another way I look at it. But man, I start to feel old. It's like, oh, that time has passed me by. So anyway, so we're doing the cowboy sunrise, or from the movie The Gunfighter with Gregory Peck. And I just thought that was such a beautiful ending. It really touched me. See, that's the thing. I want to be able to do a quilt like that. And I guess I do. I'm like Lisa. I want to quilt for my heart, not for my ego, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Or just um I think Mark's gonna go on a bike ride today. Yay. I think sometimes I don't have enough of that drive. Those women are so amazing, and they've moved our whole quilt movement so far ahead. And oh, the Japanese women. Oh my God, it's amazing. So I just have to say, yes, they are leading the way. They give you something to aspire to, but I'm getting too old and too tired to do that. So I guess that's, and you know what? If I keep looking at photos from all the shows or going to the shows, I'll get some great ideas. I'll learn little tips maybe that, I wouldn't have known before without watching that. So, do you ever, lately, I know there are a lot of spiders around, but lately I keep feeling like, something's on me or something. It's driving me nuts. So today, what we know we've got UFO number 5 for this month, June 9th. But mostly what we're going to be talking about and organizing is our um, latest beginning. And this is going to be for a color wash quilt. And one of the people, I've written up a paper that I will put a little information paper that I will put on our group's IO. But I looked around. This was one of the people that I saw, and this is Sandra. I think it's Sandra Bruce, and she wrote an article in the AQS American Quilting. I'm sorry. The Quilting Arts magazine, winter of 24. And this kind of got me thinking about it. And then Terry Rowland got me thinking about it. And the last homely house got me thinking about it. So this quilt is slightly different. And here it is on her long arm. She wanted a nice long wall covering for the area behind her quilting frame. And I think I would like, I don't know where I would put it, but I kind of like the way Terry Rowland looks sitting in front of her ColorWash quilt. So I'm so glad he's taking a ride for himself. So, okay. I would like to read this to you if you don't mind, because it'll give you an idea about give something gives something a shot. Oh, you're all right. Oh, so Mrs. Deb now. Now I'm still just Deb, and but I did get my Social Security card in with my new name on it. So now tomorrow I've got to go to DMV. Oh, heaven help me! And got to go to DMV and get my driver's license, because that's the main thing. Yes, you have to have Social Security changed first. But then if you don't have a driver's license, you can't change it in all of your credit cards and your bank. I'm going to have to go a walk-in visit at my bank. I mean, it's now a job, and you have to have all these changes. Everything I keep reading says you must have the changes made within 60 days of your wedding. So you can't just, dilly dally. So, but anyway, here is the information that I have been collecting on color wash quilts. And then I'm going to show you the photos, and then I'm going to start working a plan to organize. These are not all of my scraps, just some of them. So, okay. So it says here, I'm just going to read it, make it easier. I've gathered information from reading articles found on an internet search. As always, we use our own judgment and artistic license to create our own works. But I thought it would be good to know what others perceive as the process and expectations in making a color wash quilt, because I like to bring you all the best and the broadest information. The first comment I ran across said that the light should be the center of the design, with the colors darkening as it continued out to the edges. That does but make it dramatic, but it adds a degree of difficulty in choosing the shades and tints as you work your way out. Now, this information came from So Pretty Quilts at blogspot.com. Okay. And here is one of her style. Because this is kind of like so many things in quilting now. It's got a kind of a common theme, but then it kind of, works out. All right. I'm reading an article in Quilting Arts magazine, Winter 2024, written by Sandra Bruce, called Scrap Vortex. She wanted to make the same style quilt that I want to make, something to cover a large space with the look of continuity for her behind her long arm. Where her idea is different from mine is that she chose to make 10 by 40-inch sub panels and then sew them together. I want my quilt to be made of approximately 4.5-inch blocks with maybe some other sized ones to blend and meld into each other across the width of the quilt. Fan- uh, uh, and so, Jody's YouTube channel is great, isn't it? I'm so tickled for her. I think it's just what she needed, because she has a very good, talented, strong voice, and now she's using it. So, now, so where she had strips of color, I want to figure out, and I'll tell you more about that in just a little bit, but I want to figure out a kind of migration of color. All right. Ooh, I just thought of that and thought, wouldn't it be cool to have some flying geese in the different colors that kind of track the migration of the colors of the blocks across the quilt. I better write that down because you know me, I will forget it. What if flying geese could lead color change? I love that. And you know that I always, no matter what I do, I like to put my own spin on it. Okay. Oh, Bela Lugosi, isn't he a doll baby? I loved him. Okay, Vincent Price. There's lots out there to do with Vincent Price. Okay, now, one of the good ideas that Sandra Bryce, she had many of them, was to use your orphan blocks as part of your scrappy quilt. You can use them as they are or cut them up and then include them. She also loves the idea of using wonky cabin blocks, which that's what I think I want to do. And the joy of just sitting and sewing without strict guidelines. There is joy and peace in mindless stitching. Sandra suggested that this quilt could be a good chance to practice different techniques such as flying geese, curve piecing, nine patches, etc. So, what a great way to practice your curve piecing by doing it on one of the blocks that's going to go into your quilt because we're putting it all in there. So, and her using the orphan blocks, because how many of us have orphan blocks that just sit in a drawer or sit in a container hoping that there's going to be some way to use them? And I like the idea of taking a 9-inch orphan block and cutting it into 4 pieces. It just sounds good. Now, more good information I read in her article was to remember to blend your colors. And that I think is very important, especially because what I see is a kind of melding of colors, kind of when we did the watercolor quilting. But she said instead of hard lines of color change, add bits of the next color to the blocks that'll be transitioning. So if you start with red and you want to go to orange on the last few blocks that are going to touch the orange, start adding little bits of orange. And that just continues that feeling of a kind of blending movement. So let me see. And she also liked the idea of including triangles and different shapes in your blocks. It doesn't have to be just the center. You could put different shapes everywhere. Her best suggestion was to add solid colors randomly throughout the quilt. This is so important. You have to give your eye a chance to rest. Have you ever seen a scrappy quilt that it just rebuffed you? It just wasn't pleasant to look at. It could be there too much pattern, too much chaos going on. So just you don't have to have a neutral color. Just put a solid. And so for each color that you're going to use for your color wash quilt, grab solids too. And they are very important. I've made quilts before. In fact, I'm kind of making one now, my English paper piece, where every pattern, every fabric has a pattern. There is no, well, I've got white, thank goodness. But you need a place for the eye to rest, or else you just don't want to look at it. It just overwhelms your brain, especially if you have my brain. So, let me see. Her best suggestion was to add, solid colors. I've already added that. Okay. And final section of her recommendation discuss using a neutral quilting thread. That way you can just start quilting and have fun and don't worry. She said taupe is what works for her. I like a gray. So whatever you have that can kind of go across all the different colors without stopping and starting. She also said, have fun with the quilting. This is a great chance to just play with the quilting. You can write the different colors from the different sections. You put them in there. I saw a woman who did what she calls scrap vortex that put the word, what was her word? she made the blocks so it made letters down the center, and she put words in the quilt. You can just use the freehand quilting and write things in your quilt. Maybe your thoughts about different things, current events, whatever. But okay. So then what I did after reading everything that she had, but use the quilting as a chance to have fun and embellish, write stuff in the quilting stitches, have fun. This whole thing should be about cutting loose and having fun. So many things we have to do. We have to do a certain way and constrain ourselves. I think that would be good. But oh, Mary is here, honey. We're thinking of you, sweetheart. Um, so now, then what I did, I said, well, I'm going to look up scrap vortex and find out what that movement is and how is it different or similar to color wash quilts. And what I found is all the scrap vortex, the what do they call them? Block of the month or sew alongs, where people say, let's make this. Here is a very good example. Whoops, now let me hold it here. That's what I kept seeing. They could be in pastel colors, whatever, but they were just random. I think of a vortex as like a tornado, something swirling and moving. I didn't see movement in that. So I'm not sure why it was called vortex, but that movement as per se, I kept seeing dates in the blogs and articles of 2015 and 2016. So I think it's about 8 years, 9 years in front of us. So that makes sense why things would have changed so much. Okay, I've got little pieces of glue on my fingers. Sorry about that. I'll show you what I was doing with the glue right before I came on. Now, what drew me to the design, what I loved that I saw was by designer Terry Rowland. And I'm going to hold this up there so that there is her quilt. There is her YouTube. Or just go to YouTube and type in Terry Rowland Quilter. What I like about hers is I like that the pattern can change, the color kind of, you get movement. I even saw someone kind of do a swirl, and that was really cool. But Terry Rowland, and she also does the center. I was thinking I would do, whoops, sorry. I was thinking I would do the same center color with all of them. But then I realized, you know by what she did, at least this one, the light colors had a dark center. The dark color blocks had a light center. And it really does make it pop. So I think, okay, doing the same color center, I have a feeling would leave it a little more flat. So I've got to rethink that. But it's a very distinct look. And another thing, when you're making the blocks, I had one over here. Here it is. When you're making the blocks, consider you can use all the same fabric if you want, but at least consider adding in a lot of them that have light and dark versions of that color. And that will make it sparkle. Okay. But in this quilt right here, I think she, for the most part, did the entire block out of one of her shades of scrap. So, and that has a place too. So that's the cool thing, is you can kind of decide which way you want to do it. Um, I haven't decided what shape to make for the center of the block. And I also have some fabrics over here where I may put a unifying, a fussy cut design for each center. So I'm still working it out now. But definitely, I like the idea of having enough blocks that have um, multiple shades of the same color so that it will pop. Also, now I noticed Terry Rowland has a good number of YouTube videos on making that color wash quilt. And where was it? What was I going to say? But she has multiple ones. I was going to say something. Now I forgot. Went that train left the station without me. Well, hopefully I'll remember it. But in wrapping up the discussion, I wanted to list some ideas that I called from different people that I hope will help your quilt sparkle. Remember to use a different color relationship for the center of each block. So instead of just randomly going, well, it's a light block, so put a dark center. Think about this. This could be something fun and challenging. Think of the color wheel. Could you use a complementary situation? Meaning, if you do blue blocks, put orange in the center. If you do green blocks, put red in the center. Maybe, and see what it looks like. Or would you like to do monochromatic? You could have lighter blue block and a dark blue center. Or, and you could even do blue and green since they're beside each other on the color wheel. Analogous. Just kind of, I'm still toying about all of this. I tend to do this. I tend to want to learn everything about a certain technique, and then I get analysis paralysis. But I promise I'm going to break through that. So then consider, if you make a block and you just don't like it, it didn't do what you wanted, then take the block and cut it up. Or if it's just one fabric, cut that fabric off and sew another one. Don't even unsew it. Just cut and put another one on. So that's what one thing we're going to push for in this is no rules, just fun, just play. I want you to be able to put some good music on or an audio book and just play. No thinking. Wouldn't that be nice? Then all fabrics are worthy. Put homespun in, put minky, put polyester. There are no rules. Just go for it. Then space your bold prints out between different blocks so that you have a uniform balance across the block. If you have a fabric like this, space it out. Because otherwise your eye will be drawn to just that area of the quilt and they'll miss all the other wonderful things. Consider adding specialty prints in the center of the block, which I already told you about. Vary the intensity of color in the blocks to play with light. Use a piece of graph paper. Now, that's what I'm going to do because I want to design a couple scenarios. I'm thinking of doing 4.5 inch blocks. Terry Rowland does 3.5, but you can pick whatever you want. Depending, like if you're going to make a smaller quilt, you might want to do 2.5 inch blocks. Depends on how small your scraps are. But I'm going to take graph paper and each block will be all assigned like it's going to be one of the blocks I make that size, and I'm going to work on trying different patterns, maybe a wave of color. I saw one that did this, and I thought, how cool is that? So you got to look at your scraps, see what color scraps you have the most of. For me, it'll probably be blue. And then you can use that when you're designing how you want your colors to work. Now, if you want to do one of those, the color washes that has like the light in the center, then you've got to find a lot of lights to do that. But I really want there to be a block in the center because I just love the way that looks. All right, so then mainly have fun. This project is like a palette cleanser between more difficult and process heavy designs. This is a great time to put on some good music, audiobooks, and just sew with abandon. It could be just what we need as summer involves playtime. So this is going to be our playtime. I will put this on the site. So if you want to use it to help you plan your quilt, and see, even if you, oh, I don't want to start a new project, this is not really starting a new project, because everyone has scraps and you can just work on it little at a time. And if you finish a serious quilt, what scraps from that can you put in it? So you can work and work along as you go. Our time to quilt at twc.com for anyone who can't get to our site, or if you'd like to join so you can be on our site and get, we have a very full file section of all the patterns that I have made and given to you over the past 6 years. So, all right. Now, thank you for letting me read that to you. I know it can be a wee bit boring, but I just thought, let me get all the ideas in one place because I realize now it means something different to each person. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to take a little break to show you all of the images that I gathered to do the color wash. And then I'll do show and tell, and then we'll come back and look at all this. I was just pulling everywhere. So, okay. So now let's get ready to check the images of all the different color wash ideas. Okay. Today I was telling Mark, he helped set up my camera, and he said, "This is getting all loosey goosey." And I said, I know, but I have to have the microphone out of the way so that I can turn the camera to the screen. All right, here we go. Let's go down and get that folder. Here it is. First one that popped up. Okay, are we ready? And if you want, I can put some of these images on our group so you can enjoy them. This is that one with the spiral shape. And look how they mixed, green to blue to purple to red to orange to yellow. So your spiral can be, I love that this is soft. The only thing I don't like about this is it doesn't have the center to the blocks. But notice how they did transitioning from one color to another. So they started adding red here before it got to red. They started adding orange here before it got to orange, and on and on. So they did an exceptional transition there. I love that. Look at that transition. Isn't that pretty cool? Okay, let's see the next. This is one of the ones, I don't know if Terry Rowland made this or if it's in the style of Terry Rowland. So let's say you don't want to do rainbow. You want to do different colors. This looks cool because to me it looks like it's underwater in a pond with a shaft of sunlight coming down. But and see how all the blocks, they're all different shapes, but they sew them together and eventually, you know, well, even the outer edges, it's kind of freeform. I like it. So that I just love, that just has a sense of joy about it. All right. This is more of a strict color wash watercolor type thing. I put it in there so you could see the difference. So is this. And when you type in color wash, these are the things that come up. So I wanted to discuss them. Here, they've stuck with blue and yellow, and kind of a yellowy orange, which is complementary. That's why they look so good together. They're opposites on the color wheel. And look at the amazing quilting that is done on these. Doing a simple quilt like this leaves you open to doing so many awesome things on it. So I'm hoping that, that'll kind of help you get excited about working on a project like this. Okay. Oh, that's just to remind me that yes, we're going to do fish this summer, I promise. Here is one of the Terry Rowland style color wash quilts. And for some of you who don't like dark or heavy colors, this looks like sherbet parfait. That is just so refreshing and beautiful and summer like. So you can even, choose exactly what shades of color that you want. But I think that's charming. Okay, here is another style. It's a little different, but you know what? The sky's the limit. But that's a great way to use up scraps. And then this one. Okay, so if you put black bias or sew black edging around all of your colors, you could take a color wash quilt and turn it into stained glass color wash. And I just love just taking the fabric and sewing things around them. Now, I can tell you honestly, I'm not going to put the black around every color. I've done one of those quilts before. Once was enough for me. Here's another Terry Rowland style quilt. And there's something about all the little centers, that continuity. Here's another one. Some of them did keep the lighter colors more to the center, going to the dark on the edge. So they really do portray light very well. So there's all kinds of ways to think about it. Then these blocks are using up scraps, but it's a different style combining them. And here is a close-up of a Terry Rowland style color wash quilt. And don't forget, vary all the colors. That's what will help it sparkle. All right. And this orange is not a light color, but it definitely stands out compared to the background. Look at this. Those are yummy colors. I love red and purple together. Mark was watching a motorcycle race today on TV, and I absolutely got nutty when I saw a motorcycle with purple and red stripes on it. It was gorgeous. So, purple and red, I think I'm going to want to put those two together. And what I like here is maybe it was a square, maybe it was a wonky square, maybe it's a rectangle, maybe it's a rhombus, or I don't know exactly what that is, but I like that the centers don't have to be uniform. I love it. The red section of someone's. I wish I had more Cafe fabric because boy, does that sparkle. Look at the blues. Beautiful. And it looks like here they're going in towards the yellows. You see how they did that? Okay. Oh, isn't that pretty? There's just something about that style. Way to go, Terry Rowland, for thinking of this because, wow, That is very unique, and some of the blocks are quite large. Here is another one. And I'm just showing you all these pictures so that you can kind of get an eye for what kind really gets you excited. Now, here, this is beauty, a word from a fabric. Look at the funny shapes, but these are all fussy cut centers. So that'll help you see what you think of that. Love. You know what's going to be fun is going back over these fabrics that I've used for so many different projects. Look at this one. Is that just amazing or what? And they step down the smaller blocks, almost giving the star a lacy edge on the inside of those star points. But there's another way to look at it. That's incredible. I love all the different fabrics. I love using all the different colors together. Now, this is one of the scrap vortex style, but they, to me, did a really good job of going from color to color. I love that. Here's another one. And you can quilt them any way you want. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just a fun playtime quilt. Just love these. You could even try to make it look like a little um seaside up on the mountain village. I mean, it sometimes has that look. Isn't that pretty? Nice soft colors. I'm hoping this will help you. And look at stair step designs. These are very uniform. All circles, same size blocks that look like bricks. And different fabrics, but I think the same fabric for each block. The whole block is made out of the same fabric. Oh, isn't that is cool. And this, they put the light on the outside and the dark in the center. Fabulous. Whoops, did I miss one? Nope. Okay. Look at this. Oh, wow. That is lovely. So I realized too, I've got to decide between making the mixed up blocks or each block having one type of fabric. I don't know what you're thinking about. I don't know. That'll be good to, I think make up several blocks and then see. To me, this is a little bit, it looks like a city of apartments, but I think I want more of a flowing of color. This is lovely too. Yes, I want to make sure to look for some that use different fabrics in the block instead of one consistent fabric. Because I've got to make sure that's what I want to do. Look at the quilting. Look at this like big sunburst in the center and it going out to all sides. That is very dramatic. And who would think that a scrap quilt, I'm a truly scrap quilt, could be that exciting? Oh, isn't that wonderful? I love that. That's a little bit more free form. The blocks are larger, but I love that. Ah, this is one in progress. Oh, I thought this was so cool. I want to do an underwater quilt at some point in time, but I thought, oh, that is so neat. That looks like it would be pretty complicated. Here's another one of the basic color wash. Now look at this. Now the reason it looks so pretty is it's in front of a window. So you know how your seam allowances can look like stained glass? So that's one of the reasons that's so pretty. But look at all those little blocks. That's amazing. Okay, I think. Oh, here it is. So what is this word? See how I see a G and a V, E, N, or is that N? I forgot what the word is. I think forgive. Forgive, I think. So that's nice. Look at this. Now this is exactly what we are going to be making, except they did it in a little bit more of it's a different design. Everything is curved. That is gorgeous. I mean, talk about movement. The block itself has movement, and then putting them together just increases the movement. Isn't that incredible? So just decide which way. This is a stairway quilt, and it's made to be hung on the stair. It's to follow the slant of the stairs, but it better fits the space. I thought that was so cool. So if you need a stairway quilt, this is a good plan. Tiny little, and that almost looks like that the centers are yarn tied. And I think that's what that is. But here is one with, the different fabrics going through. Okay. But with this one, I really do want to get color movement through the quilt. And I like them having centers. Look, and it's just amazing. Just amazing. So what I have to decide, there's the one that to me is just a scrap quilt. I mean, it's not I don't know why they call it a vortex, but maybe because it has so many different amazing colors and fabrics in it. All right, so now let's go see what you're doing. All right, let's see. Oh, real quick, here are the scenes from the Cowboy Sunset from the end of the Gunfighter movie. I did several scenes so I could decide just what I wanted to use. And the pattern comes to you with different pages, and they're all color coded. So you see how that works there? All right. I just wanted to make it as easy for you as I could, but always feel free to change things up. All right. Now, let's see. Where is, hmm, oh, show and tell. Okay. All right. Alberta sent me, I remember doing this probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I need to find mine and finish it. But I saw a picture in a quilt magazine or something, and I just loved how it had the beige or taupe in the center with a strip of white and then the random fabrics. I thought that was so pretty. Okay, so that you are doing a great job, Alberta. Keep it up. You're getting close. That's wonderful. All right. And Betty. Betty sent, oh, and I want to thank our congratulate our Betty. Her and her husband Dwayne just celebrated their 62nd anniversary on June 2nd. Isn't that wonderful? I love that. And here is a beautiful dahlia she's growing. That is, oh, that is just simply gorgeous. That would make an excellent quilt. Mm. And then she's been doing some hand embroidery, and I want keep her in your thoughts. She is having some problem with pulmonary, no, just her breathing. Just her lungs are. She's having a hard time with them. She's going to the doctor, and it's pulmonary something. Now I've forgotten, but be thinking of our dear Betty Meisner. And then here is something else. What a great idea. When the summer gets hot, instead of having a big quilt all over your lap, how about working on hand embroidery? So, and when we do our fish, which will probably be our next project, then we can do all kinds of hand embroidery and embellishing, and that would be nice. Okay, so now let's see who's next on show and tell. Miss Bonnie, I don't think I've gotten anything new, but boy, she has some great things. I love her. In fact, she said she was thinking about working on her red work today, so that'll be nice. She has. Sometimes when you have a meeting that gets canceled, it's nice to turn around and say, "Oh, what project would I like to work on today?" It feels like found free time. And I love this LaFleur. If anybody wants this pattern, please write to me, ourtimetoquilt at twc.com. I will send you the pattern for this. I want to get back to mine as well. That's beautiful, Bonnie. All right. And her amazing black work, which she does. I just love it. Okay. So now let's see. Let's go to, oh, Brenda Sharps. I know we've seen these probably twice, but there's a lot of good to see here. Very productive, busy woman. I'm going to make this bigger. I love this eagle quilt she's working on. Look at that. Amazing. Look at this moose. I love that moose. Love that moose. And here is, we did a strip circle quilt about 2 years ago. I love hers. Look at that. And then she has some landscapes that she's framed, and they're beautiful. This one's a 3D landscape too. I'm so glad that she also has a shop in Michigan, an online shop, and she does quilting. So keep Brenda sharp. And your thoughts for if you're looking for someone to do excellent quilting for you or you need some supplies. I read something too that I love Pineapple Fabrics, which is a relatively close shop, and they've fully integrated now with Keepsake Fabrics. So they're going to have a sale in 2 weeks, and I think that's going to be their last open to the public sale. I think after that they're going to be just strictly working with Keepsake Fabric. So it's probably our last chance to get a good deal. Okay, let's see. I love this, Brenda. That's wonderful. And then look at the detail and the 3D plants and flowers and leaves in this. Just amazing. And a lot of that, the tiny leaves, can be done with confetti. and you put a tool over it to hold it in place. That's just amazing. Look at this eagle. That is beautiful. So thank you, Miss Brenda. That is beautiful work. Please send us more anytime you get a chance. Then Debbie, let's see. Ah, I love. I'll show a couple. We've shown these a few times, but I want to show you a couple. I love her inspiration photo and the quilt she made from it. I think that's wonderful. And I love how she just jumps in and tackles anything that interests her. Okay, and then this one is exquisite. Look at that. That's a variation on a grandmother's fan, and I think it's so successful. That's beautiful. Just beautiful. Trying to get my camera to stop moving. It wants to bounce a little. I think we're going to have to tighten up some of the joints. Okay. So now who we're going to go look at? Dolores, let me see. Oh, yes, her pictures from Paducah. Mm-mm-mm. Are beautiful. That's on the front of the AQS magazine, I do believe. From Quilt Works, Judy Niemeyer. These are made by Ukrainian quilt makers. Okay, that was wonderful. Thank you, Dolores. And I hopefully will have a chance to visit your blog site so I can get some more of those. So, Miss Jody has been so busy. Look at that. That is her wonderful Bigfoot. Then here is Mothman. Now, I would like to see Jody do the fly, but how she's going to do those segmented eyes, I would love to know. But isn't that wonderful? I love that. Okay, I think Miss Jody needs an exhibit of all of her. She has got a collection now, and that's so cool. All right, and then Miss Jody, I guess you're about ready to add applique to your block of the week from the quilt show. And then I just love this Miss Joni's watercolor quilt. I think hers was the best. I love it. Love it. Okay, let's see who else. Okay, Miss Mary. Yeah. Oh, I love these two. And that is her watercolor quilt that we made recently. Picture with her holding it. And look at that. Isn't that charming? I just love it. And I love it. It looks like bird footprints here on the little pathway. And she put a Rufus sided towhee right down here. And I love him. That is so cool. All right. Now, whoops, stop. Oh, acting up. Let me go back. There we go. Um, these are Marsha's beautiful crochet pieces. Love that. Then, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me try one more time. Oh boy, I left a lot of these open. Hmm. Right now, let me go back to that folder. Mm, Well, okay. That was now Marsha Hans. She sent me some brand new. Do you remember her friend's cat, Tommy Bahama? What a cute one. But now look what she sent pictures. She lives in Arizona and her that cactus is just blooming like crazy. It's so intense. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. That is just gorgeous. Thank you for sending. We love your outdoors, your flowers. She has chickens, and so she has some chicken quilts, and they're so cute. Look at this one. Oh my gosh. And then look at the chicken magnets on the door. Isn't that is precious. So thank you for those, Miss Marshahan. Thank you very much. Okay, now let's see who is next. I don't think I really have that many. Um, I got bark in my hands, and no, I think that's. I love looking at this and wish I was still there. Oh, that rental house was wonderful. And my kids were so good that we got an excellent rating as a house guest, which I love. But, oh, we had such fun. Now, who is this going to jump off? That was Evan. I would go back again in a heartbeat. I surely would. And let me see if I can remember which one is Mark's. Mark's going to jump off. Maybe is it this one? Let's see. He was so brave. He did diving. Oh, scared me to bits. That was Mark. Isn't that wonderful? That was fun. Oh, yeah, that was a wonderful time. And we're very lucky that we could all get together. Whoops. It was really nice. So, if you're a young parent, just remember they do grow up and it gets so much easier. And then you actually enjoy them. So that is wonderful. Okay. All right. So that's enough of that. Now go back to show and tell. And Miss Melanie, I'm trying to think of what. Oh, yeah. She was doing some more totes. I love look how professional, and she was. I mean, she was a professional seamstress, but boy does it show. Her work is exceptional. I love that. So way to go, Miss Melanie. And oops, oh well, I didn't mean to close that all the way out. Let me go back. Um, right, Miss Polly. Yeah, she had that beautiful Bargello quilt. Isn't that gorgeous? Excellent work, Miss Polly. Excellent work. All right. We go back. And whoops. Oh, Susan Smith. Yes, gotta see some of hers. And I have in fact, she probably put some on her blog. I'll have to check. But we love seeing your work. So please consider sending me photos of things you have made. We would enjoy it very much. So thank you, Miss Susan. Now let's see. Now Vicky. I think Vicky's our last one. And I love the colors in this quilt. Isn't that beautiful? So thank you so much. Let me get you back around here. And we're going to look over the stash. The all important stash. Okay, let me close this out. Let me close this out. Oh, come on, come on. Okay, here we go. All right. Now I'm going to bring you over here. Look at this mess. What is this about? Okay, here, this is what I decided to do. Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is before I came on today, I took my trays. Remember, I made these some years ago out of foam core board and hot glue? Oh, and just wanted to show you again. This is oh, it's a mess. Let me tell you, Miss Mary. And but this is my 80-piece block from the English paper piecing that we're working on. And I stuck the back of the needle in my finger so many times the other night. I was like, okay, this is not fun. But anyway, what I did is I just took the tray I already made and I glued in lightly some dividers. Okay. And here's another tray. But remember when I showed you those circles we did? But what ends up happening, what are these? You never know what I'm going to find. Ah, okay. So this is something I had just put to the side, but I saw it had scraps. So I thought, ooh, this is good. I bought some of these one time thinking to make a little sewing kit to hook on them, but cars nowadays don't have that the inside door thing to be able to use these. So, oh well. All right, let's see. Oh my goodness. I'm hoping that by working on this, it'll also help me clean. But oh no, this is cute. These would be cute little fussy cut words to put in the center of your blocks. But what I'm going to be doing, oh, I've even got a larger table down here that I might use. And what I'm going to be doing is separating all of my scraps into colorways. That's the first thing to do. Now, what else I did, let me move, but you see all of these, there are 3 bags of scraps. Look, this is my biggest one of scrap. This one, look at it. I mean, oh my goodness, little one of scrap, 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 scrap. Okay, what I'm going to do is I wanted to take a look at my fabric that has a small print on it. This is the one I think. No, this is a feather one. Oh, that's cool. But I wanted to look at these and see if there was any that might be good if I wanted to use them as centers. Centers of, now this is kind of big, but it would have to be, and that probably wouldn't work. This, you can always get something out of this, although I try to save this because this I use for fish eyes. So can you imagine a fish with a big eye like that? So, but I do like that. Then here are beautiful ginkgo leaves. They could be cut up to be centers. And then these cute little hearts would be nice centers, and the bigger hearts again. So I'm just going to be looking. And the reason I tried to find these kind of fabrics with all the different colors is because it would help me in which one I cut out for which block. But I'm not sure I'm going to do this, but I pulled these out just in case. So, things I'm going to do, very simple, is I'm going to separate. In fact, let me bring this back. And I'll put blues in the center. I'll put purple here. Whoops, I thought I had this glued in better. Okay, so blues in the center. Then this was from a quilt I made for my daughter who's now divorced. So, but much happier, much happier. And so this is going to be a joy to work on. And then I can make a pile of greens and blues. I knew that blues would be my most prominent color. And I even brought partial charm packs because I've used so much of it, and but I can use these as well. So purple goes here. I think I'll put that in the green pile since it's mostly green. But I just got to go through all of these and separate them out. These are purples. And I need to look everywhere for my partially finished UFOs because I tend to leave fabric in the UFO container. But you just basically, you're going to be sitting there and just separating the fabrics out. Purples, 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 blues. So it's not that bad. It's just a matter of, having the space to work to clean it up. This is too big to be a true scrap. I'll toss that down there. Red and green, purple. I have a feeling these purples came from working on the boys' quilt. And here is blue. And so when you look at some of these fabrics, you'll think, well, they don't look that fancy. But that's okay because once they get in a scrappy quilt, the individual look is not as important as what it brings to that quilt. Look at all of these. I've got, this is how I tend to, I clean every once in a while, bunch them all up together. But now teal, is it blue or is it green? I guess just see what color jumps out at you. But, oh, I've got some of this after all. Yeah. Okay, now red. I have a feeling I'm not going to use browns, but if you want to, you can. So what I will do is browns, I'll put in there for now. And oh my goodness, scraps from baby quilts I've made. Well, that has got to be taken apart to be useful to me. But that's nice to see. Aha. Purple, purple. Oh, look at these. So ones that are oh, this came from Exploding Heart. That's so cool. So these will have to be cut up to a dominant color. But purple, might keep these creams, these off-whites close by because they might be good centers if I decide to do that. More greens to put over there. Blue. I don't think I'm going to use this color, so I'll put it over in the brown bag. I just really want it to be bright and happy. So I'll keep whites and off-whites over here. Oh my goodness. This is from making a rope bowl or something. Well, I'm not sure I want that, but I guess I could, but I don't know. More red. Oh, here is a selvage. I'll have to put the selvage in my selvage bag. So this is what the underbelly of my room really looks like. Oh, Jody, you're right. Jody loves, if you ever want to get rid of your scraps, Jody loves scraps. And with the work she does, it makes sense because sometimes she just needs a little bit of this or a little bit of that. But now that would be good in as a light green or a dark yellow. Oh my goodness. You can tell what I was working on based on what color scraps I have. This must have been like the underwater quilt because of all of the greens and blues. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, now I think I'm gonna pull this back into the blues. But so this, this is kind of what you've got to spend your time doing is dividing them up. And I'm going to also put dividers in that tray too, because I feel like I'm going to need red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Ta-da. So if I have 6, I think I'm pretty good. Oh, nice yellow. Well, don't want any browns. But now, if it's something like this and has tans and browns, then I will use this for sure. And what is the dominant color? Maybe orange. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Yep, 6. I need 6 divisions. So, and if you have something like this, maybe it would work on a block as you're transitioning. I don't know. But I'm going to do reds and pinks and this side right here. Oh, that's too brown. You can almost, well, you know what? The lighter parts would be good oranges to have in a dark orange. So, goodness gracious. Okay. So I can get the greens. But anyway, I think you kind of see what I'm doing. And now some of these are a little too small to use, but this bag, oh my goodness. I'm wondering where these fabrics came from. Oh, I think I know. Here was a scrap bag that someone had lots of scraps. There we go. That's okay. So now I don't feel quite so bad because one of the bags I was not of my making. But transition between yellow and orange. Look at this. So, and one of the reasons I grabbed this bag is because she has so many primary colors. And I thought, ooh, that's good orange. This is from Nancy, and she is prolific and wonderful at um, bold colors. So that is wonderful. So anyway, as you see, I've got my work cut out for me. Once I get all of these sorted, then I'm going to sit there and have my iron on. And I'm going to iron the fabric before I stitch it in because some of these are so crumply that it's just they're not going to work as they are. I think I'm going to put for right now, I'm going to put all these greens in this bag. But I love having the wonderful thing about doing scrap quilts is you start to find um, it's just so much to use and choose from, and greens are amazing. Now, some of these crumbs I'm going to use because I'm making my own blocks, my own fabric, and if I want to sew a thin strip to something, I will. I'm just going to decide as I'm sewing, I'll make that decision. So, oh, goodness gracious. But it's kind of fun. It's fun to go back over and look at all the different fabrics I've used over the years. And it's kind of nice to reminisce. But oh, this was definitely for a landscape. So, all right. I am not going to paper piece these because I don't even want to have to worry about that. And let me put this over here. But anyway, so now we've got some ideas. I'm probably going to have too many of certain color scraps. That's okay. Um, I like the idea though. Now these scraps, well, like I think Cheryl Lemon said, everything's going to have a place now. So it's a great way to start on separating your scraps out so you can actually use them. I think that's wonderful. So, but I do want to iron. I'm going to have the iron set right up so when I pull one out, I'm not going to iron them all at first. That would slow me down too much. What did I do with my mouse? It's a good thing to put your mouse in a safe place before you start pulling everything out because it'll get lost under all the scraps. I found it, but I'm going to iron as I go. That way I don't have to spend hours and hours and hours pre-ironing things that I might not use. So as I grab one, or you know what I could do? Grab all the ones that I think I know for sure I'm going to use and then iron all of those. That way when I grab and sew, I just do it quickly and easily. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be fun. This is the perfect time of year to be in the basement because it's nice and cool down here. And so now I just have to go and make some decisions. What am I going to do for the center of my blocks? What color? What shape? I need to, if you don't have a piece of graph paper anymore, because high school was a long time ago, then just type online. Just type online that free printable free printable graph paper and print out your own sheets. And that way you can decide what size little squares that you want. And that's easy peasy. And then get out your colored pencils and or crayons and just kind of play with some different designs. And that's a good thing to do before you start because it'll give you an idea of how many blues are you going to need, how many reds, how many greens. And that's always nice. All right. Anything else going on? Oh, that's wonderful, Mary. Wonderful. So, what size the finished quilt will be? Up to you. It's totally up to you. But I want mine to be reasonably big. And by the look of all of these scraps, yeah, I think it'll be reasonably big. Also, decide whether your block is going to be one center color and the rest all the same fabric, or do you want to just grab and have it, as long as um, if you're going to go with a true color wash, then will your red block be all the same red or will it be hodgepodge of red? And I think that I do want a good amount of color. So I'm going to keep with the idea of doing the hodgepodge. And I've just got to figure out the centers. But I thought, oh, these would be cute. And could you cut out that red circle and put it in the red block? Or I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some prototypes. Then if I say, well, what will a prototype look when you put them all together? All I have to do is take a picture of it, print it, then cut the printings and put them all on a sheet. You use your printer and your camera to help you audition things before you go to the trouble of making them all. Because if you make them all, and let's say I try to do fussy cut the centers and it just doesn't work, I would be ill that I did all of that. And then I'd probably have to applique another piece of fabric over that, and that's too much work. So I'm hoping I've given you some ideas. I think this will be a fun way, a fun. Mary, you're so funny. Oh, I'm hoping. I just want everybody to relax and enjoy. And there's nothing better. Normally, when we're making quilts, we're concentrating so hard and we're trying to be perfect as just by the pattern. This one, you can't mess up. It's all yours. It's for fun. All right, you silly people. Oh, it's so good to see you, Mary. I was worried about you. Oh, Marsha Florham timed out Quilt Squirrel. It must have been an accident. All right, everybody. Betty Meisner is here, and I told him about your big anniversary. That's just wonderful. So, okay, everybody. I think I'm tired. I think I've got a mess now to sort. It's going to take me a while. Don't forget that I'm teaching a free class July 15th through 19th for Storm at Sea. And if you want to finish one you've already started, or if you want to make a new one, I'll be giving you more information on that. We're going to do it by a live chat. You won't even have to type, and we'll work on it for about 4 hours a day for the whole week. So that's going to be fun. All right, everybody. Debbie says going down memory lane, looking through the scraps. Yes. Oh, you're so smart. See, y'all are so organized. She bags her scraps by color. She's already there. That's wonderful. It is going to be really, really, really nice to look back at all these fabrics. That'll be special. So we'll have to tell each other, oh, I use this one for this. That'll be fun. I sure will say hi to my husband. That is very nice to have now. So, and you know what? It feels good. It feels right. For me, I'm an old fashioned girl, and this is good. So, all right, he'll be driving back up in a few minutes. So, hopefully, he's fine. But to have a good week coming up. I know I'll be here Thursday. It does sound cool. I love it. But Deb said to look at your fabrics differently. That's right. You're right. You'll look at them in a whole new way. And some fabrics you think are dull or boring will be just what you need in the block to give it the right balance. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. And main thing is no stress, no worries, and that's a good thing. All right. I hope you have a good week coming up. I hope that you're going to do something. I'm going to be laying in my quilt. I'm going to be laying in my hammock and reading a book one day. So I hope you have some time to do something just like that for you. Because, got to take care of yourself or you can't take care of others. So take good care. And Betty, tell Dwayne that we said congratulations. And he's a lucky man. And oh, here's Lisa. She just got back from vacation. That's why I hadn't seen you. And celebrating a work promotion. Wonderful, Lisa. Lisa's very talented. She's a graphic artist and very talented woman and a joy to travel with and take a class with. So, pray for Marsha's phone. It's acting up. I just signed up through track phone for another year. I love it because Mark and I we're on a budget and we've got a lot of things we want to do, so we got to stay on a budget. And my track phone ends up costing like 16 a month. Can't beat that. So anyway, we'll take good care and we buy reconditioned used phones. Works for us. So anyway, Oh, storms are going through your way. Okay. Well, it's so good seeing y'all. And Lisa, congratulations. We're so proud of you. And she's a hard worker. She takes good care of herself, but she's a hard worker. So that is really good. All right, y'all are the best. Take good care. I'll see you Thursday and next Sunday. All right, and then we'll talk next Sunday. We're going to talk about what fun projects. I want to make paper, handmade paper this summer. Might want to do some more indigo dyeing. So we'll talk about what are the summer fun projects going to be this year. Take good care. Y'all are the best. And Marcia, once again, thank you for being such a dear heart. All right, everybody. You mean the most to me.